From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. This morning, Ole Miss and Kentucky getting ready for a 3-game set in baseball. At least we hope 3 games are played. Is weather looking pretty ominous over the course of the weekend. However, at the moment, and this is 8:26 on Friday morning, no doubleheader has been scheduled to this point. So obviously, if something changes there, stay abreast to rebelgrove.com, Twitter, and all those things. You'll find out. But as of this morning, no doubleheader yet planned. They're going to try to play them as scheduled as of right now. So you got time to get to the park tonight. You got time to stop on the way at the Oxford Exxon in Blue Sky. You can get some ribs. Maybe you want to eat before you get to the game tonight. You can do that, wet or dry. Pick them up. They'll have them ready to go. You can call ahead, and they'll be wrapped up and everything for you there at the Oxford Exxon. Lunch specials are $4.99 Brunswick stew today. 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink there at the Oxford Exxon. You know about the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards program. Plenty of ways to save money. You get the Stadium Cup tonight at Swayze Field. Keep it in your vehicle because for 49 cents you can refill it every single time you pass by a Blue Sky or the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes. It's truly that simple. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. Great service after the sale, delivery options, everything you could want. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900. Tell Corey at the end of your deal that you heard about Clark Ford on the Oxford Exxon podcast, and you'll save $500. Chase, real quick, I'll do this because I forgot to do it yesterday. Ole Miss softball returns to Oxford. They host Missouri this weekend. It starts tonight at 6, I think, although I think they're doing a doubleheader today.
They are doing a doubleheader today, yes. Softball has a doubleheader today. I'll find the times while you're talking. Okay,
they play Missouri 2 today, 1 on Sunday. The Ole Miss women's tennis team host their final regular season weekend matches starting today at 3. They take on LSU. Fans receive free crawfish, admissions free. They're home again on Sunday for Senior Day versus Texas A&M. The first 100 fans receive an Ole Miss tennis class. The Ole Miss track team will host the Joe Walker Invitational beginning today. It concludes tomorrow. Admission is free. To learn more about those events, go to OleMissSports.com. And as Chase said, the Ole Miss baseball team at Swayze this weekend, starting tonight against Kentucky at 6:30. General admission tickets are available for purchase. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com.
So Ole Miss and Missouri softball, the Rebels are 28-10, 7-4 in the SEC. Missouri 23-16, 6-6. That is going to start at 3 p.m. today. So 3 p.m., 6 p.m. today, and then 1 p.m. on Sunday. Your times for Ole Miss softball.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So that's on tap. Yeah, with Ole Miss, there was rumors of doubleheaders yesterday. However, I checked last night, and I don't think that decision. Now, look, it could come in 5 minutes, and I could look like an idiot. But I don't think that decision would come until tomorrow, should they choose to do that. Tonight looks pretty good, but the problem with tomorrow and Sunday is neither day looks great. So you're kind of playing roulette if you put all your eggs in one of those baskets. I think it's probably one of those weekends that fans hate, that players hate, that the media hates. You might just have to come to the park and try to gut it out. If anything, maybe you try to move up the game tomorrow, although TV probably puts a problem on that a little bit. But I think it might be one of those long weekends at the ballpark because it's going to be tough to predict the weather Saturday or Sunday and just say, hey, we'll play 2 that day.
Yeah, Carson had an event scheduled, a soccer tournament scheduled in Memphis. They went ahead and killed it yesterday. So,
well, that made sense.
Apparently the weather people are not particularly confident in in the conditions.
Yeah, I told you yesterday that typically Ole Miss gets games in. This has been a trivia question on the site before. Ole Miss home SEC games since Mike got there in 2001. They've played every game but one. They didn't play the season finale in 2015 against Texas A&M. So that tells you the field drains really well. It tells you that they do a pretty good job of managing everything, that they figure it out. So, as you said, we were just kind of joking. They're due because sometimes they're just monsoons you can't help. But I do think the way you do this is just to go out, try to make it work, sit through it. And frankly, because of the way Kentucky pitches, I wouldn't want to get them into a doubleheader situation because Thompson can throw a complete game on you if you go 7 innings. And that's nothing against Nikhazy. Obviously, Ole Miss would be losing him too in this standpoint. But if you had some situation to where Thompson may not have been at full strength or be on routine, probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you're the Rebels against the Wildcats this weekend.
Yeah, you're right though and I said this about them being due. If Mother Nature decides she wants to win, she'll win.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a crazy stat because it's almost unheard of. It just makes no sense no matter how well your field drains, especially in Oxford, where I feel like we're in Seattle for half the spring, or for most of the spring. It's a strange deal because you would think there'd be a 2-day, 48-hour period where it just came galoshes for the 2 days.
I always get a kick out of in April. People will say, "I just can't believe it's raining like this," and I'm like, "It does this every year. Why do you not believe it?" It's like in August, and people go, "I can't believe it's this hot." Really? It's this hot every August. I know I'm overly pragmatic. I get it. It's April. It rains.
It can be frustrating while still understanding that it is just the way it is.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it is absolutely a testament to the fields crew and the grounds crew at Ole Miss and to the people who installed the drainage system and to the stick-to-itiveness of Mike and the people over there that they've only lost one game in 19 years, but it's also some luck involved, and the day will come that luck will run out, and it's one of the problems I have with the SEC and their crazy rules with baseball.
You have to have a waiver to play a Friday doubleheader, which they will deny.
It's dumb.
Travel curfews when pretty much everyone charters now.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's dumb. I mean, there's a part of me, and you know me because I kind of love some chaos, especially when it's chaos that's caused by stupidity. I'd love to see just like a monsoon throughout the SEC one weekend where it just screws it all up and them have to say, okay, let's do some rational things here. I mean, God forbid they stay and play a Monday game. Would it really impact that much? I mean, seriously?
Well, it's about the student athlete, Neal.
Yeah,
They have English lit on Monday morning.
Right.
Have to make sure they get that in.
It's about money.
It's that too.
Yeah, it's all that. I'd have a lot, and I would have a lot more sympathy for them if they said, you know what, we just don't have the budget for this. Cool.
Obviously, the weekend against Florida, considering Ole Miss hit like 400 for the weekend, picked this up. But everybody's always interested in splits and stuff. Going into the weekend in SEC play, so 12 games now, Ole Miss hitting 256 against left-handers and 305 against right-handers. So they've picked up both sides of that from earlier in the season.
So you're telling me that they're getting back to what the averages would normally be?
It appears to be stabilizing, yes.
That maybe the numbers work themselves out.
They're hitting 324 runners in scoring position. If you keep that up all year, that might play.
Yeah, that's good. They're a good offensive team.
Still can't get pinch hits. Just play your 9 guys. Just play your 9 guys.
And that's, not to get on the topic,
1 for 10 pinch hitting in SEC play.
That's where some of the scholarship limitations come into play.
It does, yeah.
It's on the depth of your roster. It's not the starting unit of your roster. It's the depth of your roster. It's the ability for your roster to absorb injuries or for your roster just to have depth and versatility. When you have 11.7 and somebody else has 15.7, there's a difference in what you're able to put on your bench.
Georgia, Florida, Vanderbilt are the best pinch hitting teams in the SEC.
Oh, what a coincidence.
State's not good. They're let's see, where are they at? They're 3 for 14 on the SEC season.
How's Auburn and Alabama doing in that category?
Auburn's 1 for 6.
Okay.
Bama's okay, 3 for 11.
Okay.
Arkansas just said, screw it, we're not doing it. They're 1 for 1.
Hey, man, go with what you got.
Yeah, he goes, I got 9 dudes. We're playing 9 dudes.
I got 9 dudes. I'm playing my 9 dudes.
Yeah. Which is so true. It's like, hey, at Tuesday they really need a break. It's like it's a 56-game schedule. Like I get your catcher occasionally, but that right fielder, he can go hit. He'll be fine on Tuesday night. If you need to work somebody in, great, but it's all right. Just play him. It's all good.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the midweek game is when you give the right fielder a break if he's got a hamstring issue.
Right, of course. Ryan Olenek should not have played Tuesday. He didn't.
No, I wouldn't have even taken him down there. But
I don't think he dressed. I think he sat in the stands.
Yeah, I would have let him sit in his apartment wrapped in a bubble wrap. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I just play my dudes. I don't overthink it. I don't turn it into the 11 and 12-year-old Cubs where I'm required to play people half a game and manage it.
There is a little bit of stuff brewing, however, with baseball right now. The vote for a third paid assistant coach is going to come up, I think, next week, maybe. It's getting really, really close, whatever it is. And I'm asking around this morning. I sent Kendall a text. I sent a couple other texts. I need to know exactly what it takes to pass it. Because if it's just a majority, they're in good shape. But if it's anything more than that, they've got a real problem on their hands. And I've
heard the Big 12 is going to vote in block against it.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. So here's what happened for a little background on this. And for anybody who's not crazy into baseball and doesn't understand this. So the way baseball works is you have a head coach that obviously gets paid, and then you have 2 paid assistants that could be on the university payroll and get paid just like football coaches or anybody else. Those are the 2 guys that can recruit off campus along with the head coach and all that stuff. I mean, those are the coaches. There's another spot for a volunteer assistant in college baseball. Mark McMillan is Ole Miss's volunteer assistant. He has been for a number of years. And that person can't get paid by traditional means. That person can only get paid through camp money and secondary income things through the program. It is completely illegal for a college baseball program to pay a third assistant. That person can't recruit off campus. They can only do on-campus recruiting, a lot of stuff like that. So the SEC said, this is stupid. We want to pay our third assistant. So let's come up with a plan. Let's throw some legislation together, and let's get some votes on it. And right off the bat, the SEC said, look, we just want to do baseball. We just want to give baseball a third assistant. That's all we want to push here. And they got back pretty much from everybody in the country, yeah, that's not going to pass unless you put softball in with it. That's the only way you're going to get this passed, is to put softball in to give them an extra assistant coach paid as well. SEC said, well, if that's the way it is, okay, we'll do that then. That's fine. We don't care. We're all printing money. We'll pay for it. And here's what's funny about this is that now the Big Ten and the Big 12, the Big Ten, I think pretty, not unanimously, but much more widespread. And the Big 12, with some power programs, have said no, have said that they do not want to fund the softball portion of it. And because of that, they're blocking the baseball portion of it because they're tied in together. We're talking about Texas, we're talking about Oklahoma, and we're talking about Texas Tech all voting no on this. Texas with a $200 and something million budget. And here's my problem. Like, if like Tim Tadlock's pissed right now at Texas Tech. Don't blame him. His AD said, I don't care, I'm voting no matter what you say, essentially. Not good for Texas. Because here's what it's doing, too. This is a recruiting tool, not just for coaches, but players, because it's easy for the SEC schools or the other Big 12 schools to come in and go, hey, they don't care about baseball. They won't even pay their coach. Look at this. That AD, look, he's saying that that guy's not even worth it. That program's not even worth enough to pay the coach. And frankly, they'd have a point.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to argue.
It's interesting.
It's
because here's the problem, is that these things take a lot to get to a vote, especially in college baseball that's so backwards in so many ways, that if it doesn't work and it's a no, it's going to be really hard to get it brought back up for a number of years.
I don't think it's going to pass based on what I've read. Now,
a lot of smaller conferences have said yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is enough to push it over the top. That's what I just don't have an answer as of right now on what it takes. But I'm seeing like Colonial has said yes, Sunbelt has said yes, American has said yes. A lot of group of fives that frankly can't afford to do it, They just said, hey, this is good for the sport, and down the road, should we be able to afford it, we want to have that option. Because that's the thing here. Nobody's being forced to pay the third coach. It's just simply giving you the option if you want to do it.
That's the thing to me that is mind-boggling. It's one of the problems I have with the scholarship thing is I don't know why they can't change the legislation. And just hear me out.
Okay.
I know Title IX. I get it. Why can't you say, because look, some programs like Louisiana Monroe, I always make ULM jokes because I went there for graduate school and stuff. Just take them as an example. They don't want to add scholarships to baseball. Can't afford them. Because if you add them to baseball, you've got to equal them out on the other side, and so you've got to add them to women's softball or women's track or something. Got to add scholarships. So they would say, we really would rather not. Cool. Why not up the limit? Say, this isn't about being competitive. It's just about having a better product and being able to give kids more money and give kids more scholarship money and stuff like that to enhance the experience. Why not say, hey, we're gonna let college baseball programs use up to 17 full scholarships. In other words, if you want to use 17 and you're a power program that can, you do. And if you're a program like ULM, which is never going to win, ULM does not open the season, all jokes aside, going, hey, we're going to get to Omaha. That's not what it's about. That's not what they're trying to do. That's not the objective of the program.
Their objective is to get to a regional, period.
Yeah, if they get to a regional and they're a 4 playing in the Oxford Regional, then those kids get the experience of making the NCAA tournament. And
it's just like a mid-major in basketball. Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so you go to the tournament, and it's a win. And you get eliminated some point Saturday or Sunday, and you go back to the hotel, and you take a team picture, and everybody hugs each other, and you say, what a hell of a year, huh? And they come back 30 years later for a reunion, and that's the stuff. So why not just say, here's what we are. That's the real world. I don't get it. I've never understood it. Why a program like the SEC programs can't add that. Add it. So maybe you add 5 scholarships, and if you can't afford to use them, then don't. I don't understand it. I've never understood some of the archaic ways that they treat baseball at the Power 5 level. It's why I keep waiting for the Power 5 to go, you know what, this relationship that we have with the NCAA really no longer makes sense.
No, what I would do if I was the czar of this is I would have 2 separate divisions. I would have a division that is just like it is now, or maybe even fewer scholarships. Because there's a lot of schools that don't even fund the 11.7 at the really, really low Division I level, schools that don't matter. I mean, on a national scale. And then I would have another one that says, okay, you pick your number, 22 scholarships. But here's the catch. You all get 22. Fund them if you like, don't if you like, whatever. But you're in this division if you want to be in this division. And here's the other kicker. No outside scholarship help. None. It's like football. You got 22, use them however you want.
Yeah.
That's it. No funny money, no lottery money, nothing. These 22.
I'd be all for that.
That's what I'd do. I'd have NCAA, basically FBS and FCS, however you want to categorize it at the baseball level. And
then you know what you'd have for the ULMs of the world? Seriously.
They have their own possibilities.
They would have, like, you could put it, I think we may have talked about this before. If we have, forgive me. You have the Division II or whatever the hell you'd call it.
The 1AA, essentially.
Whatever. World Series in Tulsa or somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'd be a great experience for those kids. Because that's the part that bothers me. It's why I love to make fun of it. People go, why do you make fun of college sports? You make a living off college sports. I'm like, I do, and I'm not really making fun of college sports. I'm making fun of the people who govern college sports because they love to do this well. You know, everything's about the student athlete. Well, if you really want to enhance the experience of the student athlete, have a championship. Go to a Class 1A high school football game, 1A state championship game. Go to that one because I think they'll be in Oxford this next year. Go in November. Go to the 1A state championship game, and when those kids win it, go down on the field and go, hey, you're not 6A. Pardon my French, but they don't give a damn.
Right.
They're celebrating. They won together. It's the experience. Same for the 2A. I mean, so why not do that? So if a ULM, picking on ULM today. I apologize to all my friends at Monroe. If two of them. If ULM made the Division 1AA or 2 tournament in Tulsa and won it, think they'd celebrate?
Of course.
Think it'd be a great experience? Think it'd be something they'd talk about for years and years?
Yeah, when Delta State wins the football national title in D2, they'll go, hey, we couldn't beat Alabama. Well, who cares?
Yeah, we didn't have to.
Yeah.
That wasn't the point.
We beat Northwest Missouri or whatever.
Yeah, and those kids know that. They know when they're at Delta State that they're not Alabama caliber players.
Play it the week of the super regionals at the major level.
Sure.
Let them go to Tulsa or Williamsport or wherever. I don't care.
Yeah, wherever. Pick a spot and let it become that place.
Yeah.
I promise you there would be cities that would vie for it because of hotels and food and stuff. Promise. Guarantee. Absolute lock in stone.
The only negative to this would be some ADs going, oh my God, I either have to fund 22 scholarships or I have to drop down a level when our team's pretty good, one or the other. Oh my God.
And there would be some people that would be faced with the difficult decision.
Coastal Carolinas of the world that goes, my God.
Yeah, and they'd have a decision to make. But
I mean, they would stay in the upper level, but yeah, I get your point.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
You'd figure it out. Add a women's rowing team or something and pay the coach minimum wage and hope for the best. I mean, just is what it is. I've never understood all of the angst about it. If you, especially when they then turn around and say every Memorial Day or whatever, we really want to grow the sport.
Well, they go about it in such a bass-backwards way because when I was in Omaha in 2014, I sat in on one of those state of the game things with the commissioners and people, and I don't know whoever they were, a bunch of old men, and they go, well, if we change the rules, that's actually taking opportunities away from student athletes because it takes away the ability for them to play on academic scholarships and all this. And I'm going, oh my God. Like I'm losing my minds here. It's like, well, if we do this, they're just going to drop baseball, and I'm like, I'm just raise my hand. I mean, asking, what? Just create a different league. Well, that doesn't make sense. Okay, fine, whatever. Y'all have at it. Enjoy it. Have at it. I'm done. Common sense does not work in that room whatsoever.
No,
none. I mean, I sat through one press conference, and I'm just looking around like, is everybody else not in on the joke here? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't understand it, and I've never have. I don't get it. You can't say we want to grow the sport. Well, then grow it. It's there to be grown. It's become more and more the major league teams more and more kind of want to take college players.
And if the Big Ten schools go, hey, we just don't think it's a priority, we don't want to fund it, okay, play at the lower level, Purdue. I don't care.
Yeah, or just say, hey, we're not going to use all 22.
Yeah, stay at the top level and don't do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you.
And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't have a problem if Purdue goes, all right, we're going to stay at the top level, but we're just going to fund 13 scholarships.
Yeah, well, 13 is more than 11.7, so you had an extra 1.5 for a kid.
Yeah, put a minimum of 11.7 and a maximum of whatever the hell number you choose, and then meet wherever you want to go. I'm cool with it. I mean, if you're Purdue, that's a good example, and you're Purdue, and you go, you know what, we're not competitive in this, and we're not going to pretend to be. Missouri might say that. Missouri might say, no one comes to the games. It's not that big of a deal. We're not going to do this. We'll just finish last in the SEC every year, and we'll focus on other stuff, and we really don't care. Cool. I mean, my response to that would not be, and I'm sure there would be some Missouri fans or Purdue fans who'd be like, oh, by God, I want us, and that you get all that. I get it. But my reaction as a neutral observer would be, okay. I mean, I get it. Be like if I go to run a marathon, I'm not walking up to all the Kenyans at the top going, hey, I'm going to run with you fellas today. You know what I mean? I mean, no, that's not what I'm doing. I mean, and it's all good because if I said, hey, my goal is to run this thing in 4 hours, it's not a terrible example. If I say my goal is to run this thing in 4 hours and I run it in 3:58, I'm thrilled.
You don't give two craps if the guy ran it in 2:02.
There's nothing you can tell me to ruin it. I'm still laughing at the 13-mile mark when the guy holds up the sign that goes, better hurry, the Kenyans are drinking your beer, I still giggle at that. It's cool. It's funny. If I tell the Kenyan, hey, you're going to run this thing in 3 hours and 58 minutes, he's going to say, oh, my God, did I break something?
Yeah, I have no femur left.
Yeah, what happened? So we're all, I mean, there are different things. I think it's silly. Here's the sacrilege part of it. I think you could do this in basketball, and it would enhance the tournament.
That's funny. It's interesting. Come back in 1 second. First, tell you ought to be like somebody in Mantua, New Jersey, who just purchased something with Scripted Jewelry, scriptedjewelry.com. Go to the website, see all the different things they have to offer to perfectly personalize the gift to that special someone in your life. Mother's Day coming up. You got a few weeks to get it done, but go ahead and get it done today. You don't have to worry about it. Order deadline April 25th. Now accepting orders for Mother's Day. It's a mom thing. Plenty of options there on the site at Scripted Jewelry. Recent work, new arrivals, what's sold well, everything that you could have to get some ideas and get that perfect gift for the mother or someone else in your life. Again, you can save money in the process as well. Rebels 10, REBELS 10 to save 10% with scriptedjewelry.com.
Getting closer and closer to the big day on the square, Sunday, April the 28th. It's Blue Delta Jeans' 5-year anniversary, and you are invited to join the great people of Blue Delta Jeans for music, Bloody Marys, Big Bad Breakfast Biscuits, and Blue Jeans from 10 to 2. They're going to launch their spring-summer line of denim and Holland and Sherry, and you'll be right there to check it out. And if you want to get fitted, you can do that day as well. It's a private event. Blue Delta is inviting all of our listeners to go. So all you need to do is either jump into their DMs on Instagram and Twitter and send them a direct message that says, hey, I'm coming. Here's my name. Here's my phone number. Here's how many people. Or you can send them an email, info at bluedeltajeans.com. Again, Sunday, April the 28th on the square in Oxford, 10 to 2. For complimentary Bloody Marys, biscuits, and blue jeans. The blue jeans are not complimentary. The Bloody Marys and biscuits are. Podcast is also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. Excuse me, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers its customers Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. And they also offer a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. To learn more about OUB, live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, check out Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent who is involved in Savannah Square. It's a 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 standalone detached structures ranging in size from about 1,100 to 2,400 square feet. The model home is available for your inspection at 215 William Street. So if you're coming in this weekend and you want to check that out, get in touch with Harry, send him a text, give him a call, 662-801-5621. And you can check out the site at savannahsquareoxford.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Master Cuts Lawn and Landscape. Let them handle your premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi. They're one of the best at that. So wherever you are in this area, they can take care of you. But they offer a lot more than just basic maintenance. They also do custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces, paver patios, forestry mulching, and much more. They just planted some hydrangeas for me here recently. They'll do whatever you need. They can do that with free quotes as well. They give those out. You can get them one at 662-607-7773, ghostmastercuts.com for a free quote, or just see all the different options they have. Again, that's Master Cuts Lawn and Landscape, 662-607-7773. So, where were you going with that a second ago? Was it the marathon I was going to talk about, or what?
I don't know.
I don't even remember now.
I don't know. I'm not inside your head.
Well, I tell you I'm going to write stuff down, and then I still haven't. I've been so bad at it this last week still, where I'm getting things in my head, and I cannot remember them.
I've got some notepads. They're in my car. I just got to get them to you.
I know.
Should have done that yesterday, but I didn't think to do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I should have written myself a note to
There
give
you go. Well, I've got Post-it notepads all over my desk. It's really my fault. I don't know. Whatever.
We were talking about college baseball, and we were talking about
college basketball, and then
college basketball and Kenyans. That's what we talked about.
Yeah, it was something to do with college basketball, actually, I think, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, there's a soft verbal up on the site at rebelgrove.com with Neal and Russell discussing basketball recruiting, Austin Crowley, Kaneem Sy, those kind of people, and then some football stuff as well. So that is up. There is a Greatest Pod in the South up also, and I believe Beer Garden coming today, I believe.
Yes, that is the plan. I don't want to overpromise, but yes, the plan is to deliver a beer garden today. That's what's on the agenda. People keep asking me about Austin Crowley. His visit has begun, to the best of my knowledge. I'm going to start to say this.
So where's he going?
Try to read this. Try to put this where you can read between the lines. I expect some sort of public announcement sometime between today and next Wednesday. The public part of the announcement.
That would appear to allude that there's a private part of the announcement.
I mean, I could not confirm or deny that.
Doesn't every commitment technically have a private portion before it becomes public?
I mean, really, if you think about it, you make a decision and then you announce it. Maybe you don't tell everybody all at once. Maybe sometimes when you make a decision, you just tell a few people first, right? I mean, like, let's say you're getting married. You tell your family first, usually, and then you announce it to the world. You don't just like come out and announce it to the world typically. So I would say that, it's not a terrible analogy. When you sign an NLI, you're sort of getting married.
Is it
at least for a year? Is
it deemed old-fashioned now, or is it still the thing to do to like ask the woman's father for permission?
I don't know. It's a good question. I would think you'd want to. I mean, I would think that'd be. I mean, it would be a word to the wise that you would.
Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. You do have to get along with these people for a set number of, or not a set, but a number of years.
Yeah, because you're marrying the family too. You can all kid yourself that you're not.
That's one of the better advice marks we could actually give people.
Oh yeah.
If you've got some major in-law issues or family issues, you really need to sort those out before you go, oh, it'll be fine, we'll figure it out later. No, you won't.
No, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Yeah, it's going to get much worse. Yeah, no, I'll be the greatest father-in-law in the history of father-in-laws.
Oh, will you now?
Oh, top 10 ever.
Completely staying out of everything, is that why?
Yep. Like Christmas and stuff, it'll be like, what do you want me to get your kids? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to not do? I'm good.
Where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to not be?
Yeah, if you're going to his house, that's fine. I'm cool.
You don't think that changes when the time comes?
I really don't.
Okay.
Nope. I mean, without getting, nope. I'm very positive on this. I'm completely confident that I will not be the one generating that drama. 100%. And I'm not 100% confident on anything. As you know, I'm not an always or never guy. I don't like those words because I think they're wrong. I can say this with 100% certainty. Nope.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you this. If my kids are dating someone seriously and you can tell that there is all sorts of there are red flags everywhere, I'll point them out. I'm not going to be the one that goes, hey, it's going to all get...
How are you going to be as far as like judging books by covers and things with boyfriends coming to the house?
I think I'm going to try to be...
Open
and fair.
Okay.
I mean, I try not to hold people to I'm not good at this. I try not to hold people to standards that I wouldn't hold myself to.
Well, look, everyone profiles. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course. Of course.
Humans, I mean, it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain bias and prejudice and all that in everyone. Everyone. There's judgments that are made initially by everyone. the people that say, "Oh, I don't do that," I'm terrified of those people because I'm like, no, you're yes, you absolutely do. Now, you might be the type of person that is big-hearted and very open-minded and all of that stuff, and you can dismiss whatever initial idea that you came into. You can dismiss it so quickly that it's almost as if it didn't happen. And I admire those people. But don't act like you never do that. Stop. You do. Of course you do. You're human.
Oh, gosh. All right. Let's see. Oh,
it's like me when I was we were taping Great Spot in the South yesterday, and I turned on the Masters. I actually turned the TV on and flipped it to the golf. Uh-huh. And I sent you the text that said it was the fat Japanese guy.
Yeah, that was the only commentary I got about from the golf from me yesterday.
The other one is the oh God, what's his name? He's really good. Brooks.
Koepka.
Yeah. You sure he's not juicing?
Well, I look like a moron yesterday because he was one of the guys I pointed out that would not win the tournament because he's been in really poor form and he had lost a lot of weight. The rumor was he's in the ESPN body issue this year and that he got a little obsessed with it and dropped a lot of weight to look as good as he could in the body issue.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had ruled him out. However, he has won 3 of the past 6 majors, and he's currently tied for the lead with the scientist. So, yeah.
You didn't answer my question.
I don't think so, but I mean, I'm not the guy that's so Pollyanna to go, oh, that would never happen by any means. So
see, I did not know that about. This is interesting because I don't, as you know, I don't watch a lot of golf, but I do like to watch them hit the ball 8 gazillion miles because that's just fascinating to me.
Okay.
And so I had it on and I watched. Look, the volume wasn't on because we were obviously taping a show, and then even when we got finished, I didn't turn the volume on because I wasn't like locked into it. But I noticed him physically immediately as if he looks different than he used to look. So him getting naked for cameras for a magazine that will be seen by millions of people, that actually makes some sense.
Any human in the world that goes, hey, I'm agreeing to get in the body issue, you're probably going to try to get in the best shape of your life. Yeah, you're going to freak out a little bit. Even if you're the most confident human on earth, you're probably going to have that moment of, oh, crap. I better do something here.
If you told me today that I've got to pose naked in a magazine in 6 months, I mean, after I have an absolute nervous breakdown,
you're getting to work.
I'm getting to work. I mean, like it's all out. I would be.
You take leave.
Yes, I would be singularly focused on that.
Yeah, it's like we talk about the guys on The Bachelor times 1,000.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, Koepka is an interesting case study because, and I'm not getting into the golf weeds today, I refuse, but he only wins big tournaments. He's won, here is his list of wins as a professional. The 2015 Waste Management Open, okay? The U.S. Open, the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship, and the CJ Cup.
Ah.
He has 5 wins in 3 majors.
Well, I noticed him yesterday as...
Malloy coached him in college.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. There was a reason that I knew... Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disparaging him in case you're listening.
No, he's very good.
In case you're listening, Chris, I'm not saying... He
hits the ball, as you said, 6 gazillion miles.
Yeah, and he just looked a little super ripped yesterday. Like he looked... I thought he looked bigger, like through his neck and traps and stuff, and that's why I went, what is he doing? Because I didn't think that's what golf... And again, I don't know anything.
They're better athletes than they have ever been, but yeah, you do have to be careful to not get so big that you're inflexible.
Right. And he looked... To me, and look, I don't know, but he looked bigger than he used to look.
That's fair. Yeah. But yeah, he apparently had lost a lot of weight. He was working out like crazy on an 1,800 calorie diet for a while. And then he has since tried to put some weight back on and get to feeling better.
Okay.
And they say it could be because of the body issue.
Has he already shot the body issue?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Your guess is yes if he's putting weight back on.
My guess is yes.
Okay.
My guess is he got down, he got leaner and ripped up for that, and now he's getting back to...
Because unless you're like Sandoval or somebody, you're going to try to get ripped. Unless you're kind of like the guy who goes, hey, I'm in this thing because I'm not, whatever.
I mean, if you know that everyone's going to be looking at your naked body, you'd prefer that they not be vomiting as a result. I mean, you know what I mean? You'd like to. I mean, come on. You're probably hoping that you're going to get a compliment or two because all the other guys on the tour are going to pick you apart and make fun of you.
Oh yeah, the heckling inside the tour would be rough with the fellow players, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, because they're gonna find something and assault.
He's such an interesting test case because forever he kind of talked about not having any respect and nobody wanting to talk to him after things because he was very soft-spoken. He never gave any opinions, so the media didn't talk to him because he never said anything. And then suddenly, he had a really good point, actually. He said that because he's won things now, he feels like his opinion actually matters, that before that, he didn't win enough to even have a voice in his opinion. So now that he's won a little bit and won 3 majors, he's said some fairly controversial, interesting things and has become more of a personality over the last year or so. So yeah, he's fun. He's fun.
The interesting thing about the body issue, and I know that no one's going to see because the way obviously it's not, it's presented in such a way.
It's not Hustler,
right? Your stuff isn't going to be revealed to the world, but the people that are there shooting it, they get a full view. I would be so in my head about stuff like that.
This is probably more of a topic for the greatest spot in the South next week.
It probably is. It probably would be.
I feel like I need JG's opinion on this now for some reason. Is my point.
JG Tate's would be his favorite would be soccer moms, the body issue.
But no, you're right. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a very, very professional environment, but it's out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. Yeah, it's not like. Yeah,
it's not hidden.
It's not a loincloth or something. You're just out there.
Yeah, you're not wearing the gym shorts like in movie scenes or something.
You're out there in the open.
Yeah, you would probably decline the sports media, the body issue.
I'd hang up the phone before they finished.
Yeah, you can be Mr. March.
Did I ever tell you the story? I was in Mobile and I was they wanted to get me on Outside the Lines.
Okay.
And initially, the girl's name was Melissa Jacobs, I think, and she's like a big deal now. But she called that morning and wanted me to come on Outside the Lines, and I was like, "You mean by phone?" And she said, "No, we'll send a camera crew and everything to your house." And I said, "No, no," and I made the mistake of telling the newspaper about it, and they're like, "You're going to do it," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "Why?" And I said, "I don't want to be on national television," and anyway, they brought a whole crew and stuff and into my set up in the dining room. And it was me and Keith Moreland and Bob Lee.
Was it Jamarcus or what? Who was it?
It was about I think it was about the year. And in fact, I know it was. It was about the year with Auburn and Oklahoma and USC. And that. It was about people's ballots.
Didn't you have a weird ballot? You voted for like Arizona State or somebody?
Early in the year, when Arizona State was like 7-0, and they had played the most impressive schedule, I voted them number 1, and you would have thought that I had, really upset the apple cart. I'm like, it's one vote in October. Who gives it?
But you got kind of you got publicity for that, sort of.
Oh, national pub, yeah.
For having a weird bracket. A weird ballot.
In October. And I said, if they lose, they'll fall. But right now, they've played the best schedule.
If they go 11-0, then okay.
Actually, I had a couple of coaches at Auburn come up to me that week and say, good for you for thinking, creatively. And I'm like, well, I'm not even trying to do that. It's just, I never understand the people that have a ballot and you do a preseason ballot and now you're held hostage to that ballot. Why? What if 4 weeks into the season you think Oklahoma looks like the best team in the country? You vote them number 1. And then if they don't look like the best team in the country 2 weeks later, you don't vote them number 1. It doesn't have to. I never viewed it like the cure for cancer or something. I never really thought it was that crucial. I took it seriously and I watched a lot more college football than I would in a year when I wasn't voting. But I never thought, this is war and peace type stuff here. No, they looked good. So I voted them number one. They looked like the best team. I watched a lot of football.
My takes were so solid yesterday. I also got this one wrong. Inside the SEC last night, Tennessee shuts out Georgia in Knoxville 2-0. Georgia up to number 2 in the country, by the way. Volunteers win the opener of that series by a couple, and then Florida getting healthy against bad teams. Still, the Gators beat South Carolina 9-5 last night in Gainesville. South Carolina just not good at all.
Speaking of South Carolina, we're switching a little bit, but it's a podcast, so get over it. Frank Martin emerging as a major candidate at Cincinnati for the.
I did not know that.
For the basketball job. Mick Cronin left Cincinnati to go to UCLA earlier this week, and Frank Martin's name is the name.
What's the better gig?
It's probably one of those deals where beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But if you look at USC, South Carolina today,
Final Four team 3 years ago.
Yeah, they got a great facility. It's a neat town. I think you'd be able to recruit players there, but you're in a really hard league that just keeps getting harder. And for whatever reason, no one has ever been able to really consistently get it done there. And so there might be something systemic involved in that. Cincinnati, meanwhile, has frequently won big. It's in an area where it's easy to recruit to. I like Cincinnati. I think it's a cool town. Basketball's number one. Even though they play football, basketball's number one pretty much. I don't know. If money's the same, maybe Cincinnati's the better job.
The American's good. It's not a detriment to you at all.
No, it's not about. And hey, the other news yesterday that came out, and this is Ole Miss related potentially, and please don't ask me because I don't know the answer. I know I should know, and I'm going to find out, but I don't know right now. And frankly, I'm not sure that the people at Ole Miss know. But anyway, if the SEC teams that don't go that are not
saw this, that are not participants in the SEC Big 12 Challenge,
right? They're not going to just get screwed. They're going to play an AAC team. And especially the top half of that league's really good.
Yeah, because now we're talking about Memphis and Cincy and UCF and
and Houston.
Yeah,
good teams with good nets. It shows you what I've been saying for a while, which is the lesson that got learned this season. I asked Kermit Davis this on the day that they got into the tournament. I asked it so badly that he didn't understand it because the question was phrased so stupidly on my part. In my head, it was a great question. What came out was not a good question, and he kind of dismissed it because he didn't understand what I was asking. But what I was asking was, when you look at the bracket, is there a lesson? And now that people have had a chance to look at the bracket, there absolutely is a lesson. The lesson is all that matters is net, and the way that you impact the net is by making sure that you play a bunch of good teams. Don't play bad teams. Play good teams. Play as many good teams as you can play, because that's all that matters is how many quadrant 1 wins you have, how many quadrant 2 wins you have, and avoiding quadrant 3 and 4 losses, because those are just killers. So, yeah, if you're not in the Big 12 Challenge, it's okay. Play Houston. And if you don't beat Houston, so be it. And for that league, it's an advantage because Houston or Cincinnati or whoever can get Mississippi State or Ole Miss or Vanderbilt or whoever to come to their place in January. And it's for both leagues, it was genius. I'll give the SEC credit. The way they've attacked basketball is, I make fun of them a lot, but they've attacked basketball in a disciplined way, and the league is benefiting from it. In big, I'm more and more convinced that a sub 500 SEC team's going to the tournament.
You're on that one pretty hard.
I believe it. I really do. I mean, I do. I believe it. I think an 8-10 SEC team's going to the tournament next year.
Be back in 1 second. As we do that, I'll tell you about Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. G&M, they're on South Lamar in Oxford. They deliver local to your home or workplace. They offer MedSync, which gives you the medicine you need when you need it, puts you on a schedule, makes everything good in that regard. You can give them a call at 662-236-2222 to find out more or to transfer your medications. You don't have to stay with a big chain. you can move to G&M. They'll know you. They'll take care of you in a timely fashion right there again on South Lamar. And they offer the CBD oil we've been telling you about. It is FDA approved. It is legal in all states. No crazy side effects. Just potentially makes you feel better. So again, to find out more and anything else I said, 662-236-2222.
Guests join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but they have a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. If you think you have a legal issue, if you think you might have a legal issue upcoming, whatever it may be, just get in touch with these guys. Give them a call. Take advantage of being a listener of this podcast. Give them a call, 662-526-1992. You're going to get in touch with John Calvin Patterson or Wes Earhart within the same day, guaranteed. That initial consultation is free. The website is pelaws.com. Warm weather's on the horizon. With it comes the inevitable debate of sock or no sock for your loafers. So save your feet and your shoes from making their own impression and step into spring with some no-shows from Dead Soxy. You really need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. These no-shows are the same quality you already love and enjoy with the traditional dress sock, and now these come with the no-slip guarantee. So go to deadsoxy.com. Check out the no-show collection. Remember to enter promo code Rebel Grove at checkout for 30% off all orders. Podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi, but it has clients in more than 20 states, has advisors in 3. What they do at Pinnacle Trust is they treat investing like a commodity. The decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. Regardless of your level of wealth, they're going to sit down with you. They're going to listen to your goals, listen to your dreams, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. It's a Marriott property, so you can redeem Marriott points there. You can also accrue Marriott points there. Maybe you're going for a golf weekend. You can turn that into a luxurious weekend for you and your wife or your husband or whatever. Soul Spa, you check that out. It's at the Westin Jackson. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. And you can grab a cocktail, enjoy the curated wine list at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Great meals there. The hamburger's fantastic. The steak frites as well. Everything I've ever had there has been terrific. I think Chase would say the same thing. Chef Caden does a great job, so gather at Estelle tonight. And we're brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys, maybe the Masters has you motivated to check out Scotland or England or Pebble Beach, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're working on an anniversary trip, you're working on a late honeymoon, whatever the case may be. Get in touch with John. He's going to come up with options that you can't find on your own. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners. It allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that you are not going to find no matter how proficient you are at the Google machine. So get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you some options. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387. Or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast also brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Settle County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing in Oxford, and the float-down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you just get the lower rate. 662-234-2704. Or JLOWE@communitymtg.com. So you sent me a link this morning from the New York Post, and it uses a game in New York at Citi Field as sort of a backdrop for a problem with baseball right now. I feel like we're always talking about problems with baseball. It seems like every time baseball comes up, maybe that's an issue in itself with the sport. But essentially, what happened was Citi Field has hosted 826 games, regular and postseason. And this game they're talking about, it was cold, it was wet, and it produced a record 10 homers for the stadium. 6 came from a Twins team playing without Nelson Cruz, no DH, and Jacob deGrom was pitching for the Mets in this game. And it is a trend that there are more and more home runs, just continuing more and more and more. And there are fewer plays where coordination is involved, meaning extra base hits, double plays, stolen bases, things like that. It's making the game slow. It is making the game boring. And it's becoming a problem for spectators and teams alike. In 2018, 4 types of plays, and when I say 4 types of plays, I'm talking about homers, strikeouts, walks, and hits, represented a record 34.8% of plate appearances. It was 37% in 2019 through Wednesday. It's also on a per-game record pace for homers, strikeouts, and hit by pitches. The walks are at a 2-decade high. Through the first 188 games of this season, there have been 467 home runs. That projects to 6,318 for the season. The record is 6,105 set in 2017.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 takeaways, and none of them are particularly good for the game. One is that it's obvious that...
Real quick, this is my favorite part. Pat Courtney, MLB's chief of communications, says it's tough to make any conclusions after 11 games.
No, it's not, Pat. It's 11 games across the board, you dumbass. The game is becoming, man, and I like baseball. I like Major League Baseball. I do, but I'm going to level with you. It's gotten kind of boring.
I really liked the Moneyball era of 10 or 15 years ago when it was focused on defense and just getting on base.
Yeah, that's not the focus anymore.
That was my favorite.
Everyone is swinging into it. In other words, it's being taught. So you're going to see this trickle down.
It's already trickling down. That's what I was going to get to in a second.
Okay. For those of you who are, and these people exist, and I'm not making fun of them at all. It's cool. What you like. I'm good. Chase knows that is genuine on my part. People that say I don't watch Major League Baseball. I like college baseball, and that's not the problem with college baseball. Not yet. You're getting there because it's going to trickle down because what's being taught at the youth level is everybody. All these parents are hiring swing coaches, and the swing coaches are teaching launch angle, loft, not a level swing, loft, and they're teaching pitchers to throw it as hard as humanly possible. And so what's happening at the big league level, where all of these players are really, really good, well, they're really, really good at doing those 2 things. And so what's happening is you're getting shorter starts, more relievers, one reliever after another who comes in, 24-year-old kid, looks like he's straight off the farm, throwing 97 miles an hour. One after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And everybody's at the plate. If you've ever played baseball, you remember being 11 or 12, and when the big tall kid could throw it really hard, he was the one that was hardest to hit. Velocity's hard to hit. So it's harder to string together hits. So at the big league level, the approach now, and it's being taught at the minor league level, obviously, the approach is, screw it. We're not going to put 5 straight hits together against Noah Syndergaard. Let's hit a couple of home runs. And if we strike out a few times, so be it. And everybody's up there swinging for the fences. And so what you get is more home runs because more guys are getting the ball in the air, and more strikeouts because pitchers can use the off-speed stuff to kind of pitch above or below the loft. And you're getting a whole lot of long at-bats, walks, strikeouts. And, yeah, you get the home run, and you get some majestic home runs. But you're not getting the hit and run. That's gone. The stolen base, gone. The stringing hits together first to third, gone. And, frankly, the game on television is boring.
Yeah, that's where it really the focus is on TV. It's hard to watch unless you have an emotional attachment or a rooting interest, obviously.
Chase, I have a rooting interest, and I've stopped watching.
Really?
When I say I stopped watching, I'll watch, but the games go too damn long, and they're boring.
There's already some of that analytical trickling down into college baseball. And it's not the way to win in college because relative to the MLB, college defenses aren't nearly as good. Stress the defenses.
Right.
That's the way you win in college. Is to move runners and just keep stress.
But when this is the way the game is taught at a young age, you
combine that with a little bit of worse defense, you're going to have even a worse game at the college level.
Yeah, I do think the college game should be paying attention to this, and I'm sure they are.
15 years ago, Jerry and Ely would be a top 5 pick. He's falling right now.
Like a stone. And I know.
And now some of that's football related, no doubt.
Yeah.
No
and
doubt.
I know Ole Miss football fans say, great. I get it. And we're not talking about that. But it's still worth noting that what you just said is absolutely true. 10 years ago, people would look at his tool set and say,
he's going to run and hit a little and play a premium defensive spot? Oh.
And now they look at it and go, you know what? The run save thing in the outfield, it may be overrated because there aren't as many balls hit in play. You got to have great up the middle defense, and not necessarily because there aren't that many balls hit in play. And you do all the analytical stuff with the shifts that the guy that's the dead pull hitter, well, he's going to have to hit the ball out of the ballpark anyway because we're going to have 6 defenders on that side of the field. The game's changed. It's grown. It's fine. And the problem is people say, well, maybe they need to change all of that. The teams are all wired. They all have these really smart people in their front offices, and they're all wired to compete, to win. They're playing to win, and so you continue to game the system. And as you game the system, you get more of the same thing: more shifts, more home runs, more strikeouts, more walks. It's nuts.
Is there a reversal in this, though, like everything?
Well, people who love baseball better hope so. Now, attendance was up over the first 11 games. I'm sure Major League Baseball would say that's not too small of a sample size. Attendance was up 4%. People are going to the games. And I think when you're at the game, because so many of the stadiums are so cool and they've got
people like home runs and strikeouts in person.
Yeah,
those are fun in person.
Yeah. When you're at a Rockies game and Nolan Arenado hits the ball 480 feet, you're like, whoa, that was pretty cool. I don't see that every day at home. But are you going to sit through a 3.5-hour game to see if he hits a ball 480 feet on television? Mm-hmm. I don't know. The ratings say no.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because look, it's like anything. If you're running a business and all of your clientele is 65 plus and you're not getting the kids, you got to reevaluate some things.
But like you said, until it stops working for wins and losses, that's all anybody cares about.
Yeah, and those guys are paid to win. I don't know. It's something to follow as the season goes on because I don't know. Just I guess that's the extent of it. I found that article to be pretty fascinating.
See where Peter Alonso has 6 home runs to lead all Major League rookies, including a ball hit 118 miles an hour.
I saw that. 118.
118.
I mean, that thing's making noise. No joke. That ball's making noise.
What is bugging me a little bit, though?
I saw Arenado hit a home run at Wrigley in batting practice that we were standing kind of behind the third base dugout watching it. And the sound that the bat made, I'm not kidding, scared me.
The tweet I'm looking at now says, "Dear Baseball, take a note from the Mets. When you have a really, 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 really good hitter in the organization, they tend to help the MLB team more when they're actually in the MLB hitting home runs. You want the guy for the extra year. You want the guy for the extra year. You want the guy for the extra year."
Of course.
Come on.
Did you see where Ozzie Albies signed the 7-year deal yesterday for $35 million? Everyone in Major League Baseball is livid.
I know somebody who's not.
Yeah, the Braves.
Yeah. They're cool with it, I promise. Oh, gosh.
Jay Cutler back in the news today.
What'd he do?
Well, he, as you know, is married to Kristen Cavallari.
That is correct.
She, I think, recently had a child.
Okay.
With him, and let's just say, because they're probably kids in cars, and so I'm not going to do this all the way to its completion. She had been, providing breast milk.
Okay.
And her milk ducts had gotten clogged.
Okay.
And she used his assistants to unclog them.
How does that make the news?
That is a news story I'm reading. It's on.
But my point being, who told someone? Did it get put on social media?
She apparently, as you know, she has a reality show on the E! Network, and apparently at one of their dinners that they had, she informed their dinner companions about her major clogged ducts. She says Jay had to get them out for me, and then I will not read the rest of the quote.
Okay. Well, that's one way to end our week on there. Thanks for that, I guess.
You never know what you're going to get when you log in for a Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. You just never know.
Tons of podcasts up for you, though. Again, Soft Verbal, potentially a beer garden, the greatest spot in the South is up. And then our full catalog this week of shows. So Ole Miss Baseball, Kentucky, 6:30 tonight from Swayze Field. Weather looks like it's in pretty good shape for that one. And we'll have coverage on the site. Talk to you on Monday.